I want to rest. Let me rest. I've had loads of opportunities, but I didn't realise that. I thought it was just time that was the important thing. Is that Bolverk? Rotro? John and the others are already waiting in an enormous chamber beneath the tower. So what do you expect to happen next? Sparsh sputters. Ivan steps to the edge. We jump. Heavy footsteps echo off high walls and a dreadful outline stands in the doorway. Well done, witch, says Bolverk. Made a fool of me again. Even from here you can tell he's shaking with rage. Ivan screams for everyone to jump, but there is only hesitation. Volker turns and walks to Bolverk. No, this is going to go badly. The caravan watches Volker with rapt anticipation. I doubt we'll get another chance to talk, Bolverk, so I had to know. Is there anything left of you in there? I never left, Volker. You left. You thought it was you? It was what you wanted? I thought I was following orders. What's done is done. Yeah, that does sound like you. You get as close as you dare. The two barely acknowledge your presence. That's not Bolverk anymore. He's right. No, he's right. I'm more than I used to be. I've seen things you wouldn't understand. What if the Volker can undo this, Bolverk? What if they really can? It doesn't have to end like this, you stubborn dolt. They lied to you, Volker. They're lying still. Bolverk points his axe at the Volker, and the static flickers across Ivan's shaking hands. Those two took our reputations. They took our freedom. They took my life. They did all of this. Even if they can save this world, I won't allow it. Are you kidding me? Life's not fair. Is that your argument? Even when I was 8 years old, I never gave you such snivelling drivel. Don't destroy everything we made to save your pride. The ravens need you. So do I. You feel the slightest shift in Bolverk's demeanour, but in a blink, it's gone. Jump down the rabbit hole, Volker. I won't stop coming until every one of you is dead. That's all you've got for me? For me? Volker snatches Bolverk's axe from her belt, the one he threw near Strand, and pushes it into his hand. If this is just revenge, why wait? Oh, no. If I just leave Volker, he might hit her with an axe. But then again, it might be enough to not have an effect. I'm going to trust her. I've always liked you, Volker. That's why I gave you a chance to run. Things are suddenly moving too quickly to react. Yeah. I thought that might happen, but I also thought it could go the other way, where that convinces him just to stop for a moment, or shocks him a little bit from whatever the magic-y thingy-ma-what's it is. But then you interrupting could have caused this. Like, yeah. Admittedly, I should have gone with my gut. My gut was just to pull her away. Without hesitation, Bolverk buries the axe blade deep into Volker's neck, and she falls in a heap. Your face narrowly escapes Bolverk's second axe blade as you stumble backwards. His screaming rage fills the room until a peal of thunder drowns it out. Lightning arcs from Ivan's staff, scorching the ground around you in wild patterns, catching Bolverk's fur cloak on fire. Ravens reluctantly leap into the pit and you follow, tumbling down into the darkness as the light from the hole above recedes. A roar rings in your ears like the bellow of a Sundra. Bolverk leans over the edge, his face wreathed in flames from the smouldering cloak. It's the last thing you see before everything goes black. Chapter 20. We live as we will live. Yeah, not a fan of that. I mean, do you pull her away sooner? Probably. You pull her away at all? Yeah, I don't like some of the things that have happened in the series, where it's like, it can go either way. Like, there's the possibility that a bad thing will happen if you do one thing, or the same bad thing might happen if you do the other thing, and it's almost a coin flip. Based on different narrative thingy-ma-whatsits. Which is annoying. Alette. We're back with Alette. Sometimes you waken more tired than when you fell asleep. This is one of those times. Aleo is silently sitting bedside. Aleo, were you watching me sleep? What? No, yes. I mean, Oddleaf sent me to get you. Wasn't sure whether to shake you awake or let you... What's happening? Nothing good. Ruger's free. He's creating problems out by the gates. Oddleaf's trying to talk some sense to them now. We better hurry. Right, although... What? I had to say it, but we should bring as many clansmen as we can find. It could be a grave mistake to leave them behind. You don't think they'll be safer here? I don't think we'll be safe without them. Right. I don't think I've got any injuries on this side. No. I could go to the market, but I don't think we need anything. Let's just head down to the gate. You squint in the sunlight outside the cool shade of your tent, and a smell reminds you of the small farmhouses you once lived near in Skogre. The field is full of horseborn, a lot more than there were before. Ubin stands in their midst, the shepherd of a confused flock. He's chatting with Gunnulf, catching up on lost time. Ubin spots you and waves, beckoning you to join them. These horseborn lost a lot of leaders all at once, he tells you about the new arrivals. They haven't found a lot of sympathy here in Arberrang, despite helping defeat Ruin. Hate to crowd your camp, but what would you think about taking them under your wing? Are you sure they want that? We won't know until we ask. In times like these, I believe it's better to have too many friends than too few. Yeah, have a horseborn ally speak to them. Several of the horseborn who have travelled in your caravan are nearby. Considering Canary's troubled past, you think it would be best to leave her out of this. I think the tribe leader, Roek. Roek raises his head as you approach. Do you know any of these horseborn who arrived with Ubin? You ask. Ubin translates, chuckling. He asks if you know all the men in Arberrang. Roek agrees to ask, regardless. You can't make out the words, but Roek talks with a warrior's confidence, holding their attention. Conversation emerges. By the end, he turns to you and says, "Some join." What kind of trouble got stirred up that we need the whole clan? I don't know. The kind that turns into an angry mob. My least favourite kind of mob. My favourite is Flash. Flash mob. Through still gaping holes in the splintered walls, you glimpse the dredge indolently lurking. Bleary-eyed workers do their best to fill the cracks. The foreman spies you at the head of the caravan. Got any fighters with strong arms? Got to know we could use them and they'll be well fed. Give them a token number. I think I could possibly do it. Yeah, give them a token number. It's all we can spare, you claim. Some clansmen don't seem to mind the chance to do something productive with their idle hands. It didn't say clansmen, it said fighters. And it was fighters. Don't say clansmen when you mean fighters. In a game like this, where little things are going to have impacts on the narrative and on future choices and what's going to happen, you have to be precise with what you mean. I've already had one moment that I'm annoyed about. Don't give me more. Because I kind of like the Banner Saga. I've loved the other game. Well, I've loved the other games. But don't make me dislike this one. So many survivors occupy the dirt along the common path. They begin to blend together. A young girl conquers her shyness and comes begging for food at your feet. Others are inspired to do the same. You already know that supplies are scarce, but it'd be a lie to say you have nothing. You know that if you start giving away your meager portions now, they won't stretch very far. Do what we can when we have time. You're not sure why you said that, even you don't believe yourself. The others certainly don't, going by the quiet judgment on their faces. Yeah. I've only got 3 days of supplies. This is a huge city to be having all of this stuff happening. Yeah. And now, this is the problem I have, is now I'm starting to, like, nitpick these things. Dredge killer, shouts a woman as you approach. Contrary to what sounds at first like an angry mob, the opposite occurs. Thankful survivors crowd around, asking questions you can't answer. What if the dredge attack again? What about the darkness? What do we do now? Things are bad, but we'll survive one day at a time. Their heads nod as you speak, but they're not listening. These people have been taking things one day at a time for quite a while. Still, many follow you as you head on towards the gate. I mean, what else am I to say? Am I meant to be like, yeah, you know, well, I'll beat them? At least seem to be making some progress on the walls. Nice when we don't have to be responsible for absolutely everything. I think we are, or it feels like it. After dealing with that Sundra. They finally pitched in once they realised you're not going anywhere. Is that even moving?
I had that feeling again. The one where I want to look to my father for guidance, but he isn't there.
Yep.
Despite everything else going on, it's still mankind that worries me the most.
A growing crowd is gathering at the gates. It's easy to tell the curious bystanders from the hardened, darkened faces of Ruger's loyalists. But there are plenty of different colours being flown here. The Varl are also nearby, looking uncomfortable. As you step forward, the disgruntled murmur of the crowd turns into the squeaking of rats skittering into hiding holes. Ruger, as always, wears the satisfied smile of a man who drowned his own humility in bottomless ambition long ago. Ah, our saviour has joined us. Maybe now we can hear some sense. A pleasant voice will be a welcome change to this yapping. You'd prefer it to my bite. That's why a vicious dog should be muzzled. Disrespect Oddleif again and see what happens. Enough of this sparring. I wouldn't want to distract from the issue at hand. As usual, I only want to protect our people, but Oddleif hears what she pleases. You only want to condemn. It starts with the dredge. How long before you convince them we're the next enemy? What do you mean starts with the dredge? She would throw away all of our sacrifice to let them walk through the gates. Just as there are Varl here, Horseborn. Many of those outside these gates are women and children too. We've known this. We've even taken in a dredge infant whose mother was slain. It has been amongst you this whole time. Ruger's eyes grow wild at this. A disapproving murmur ripples through the crowd. Be that as it may, tell me why I just lost good Varl fighting them. For hundreds of years. When our leaders tell us to fight, we fight. The dredge are no different. Bellower is gone. Eyeless and Ruin are gone. Are the rest beating down our doors, crying for blood? No, they cry out for mercy. All I'm suggesting is that we don't leave them to suffer in the darkness. We can find a way. Before he died, our king said everyone lives. Who is Ruger to disagree? He is no king. Oddleif is right. There is no king here. Look at the faces around you. Some who just lost children, trampled beneath dredge hooves. Shall we invite the dredge in for another go? I don't see how any of this matters. When the darkness covers us, we'll all be the same sort of dead. But all things being equal, I'll shed no tears for the dredge now. Hear, hear, some common sense. And what does our heroic Sundra Slayer believe? Speak up, we've all been waiting for your wisdom. I won't defend the dredge if it leads to war amongst ourselves. That's silly. That's a bad idea, because then hey, you know, unity is the most important thing. Well, okay, so your principles aren't important. I mean, imagine if the United States of America went down that route. Like, yeah, no, we want to stay united. You know what? You know this abolition thing? No, it's not that important. You can keep slavery. Just stay as part of the United States. It's terrible. We shouldn't be listening to criminals who cowered in chains whilst we died on the battlefield. Well, you know, I wasn't released. Make a heartfelt plea appeal to the masses. Yeah, if you propose a question like that, be ready for the answer. We could fight the dredge when they come again, or we could take a chance on peace. Fight. Heartfelt appeal. You tell the tale of the travels, the things you've seen, the discovery that the dredge are running from the darkness, same as you. As the story meanders, you can tell the mob is becoming restless. Unbelievable. Death knocks, and you invite it in out of pity. Ruger appeals at the crowd now, speaking loudly. Friends, shall we fling the gates open wide to the murderous dredge, embrace their hammers and stones? Should I let this hysterical woman endanger your families, your kin, for murderous slag? Angry shouts erupt in response. Fury fills the face of those closing in. Ruger's faithful draw steel. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really expecting anything else, really. Let's bring Oddleaf. Oddleaf is around. Just have a load of archers. What could possibly go wrong? That to Oddleaf, I think. I probably could level people up, but I don't know what to do with them. It's fine.